Mr. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Bishon? Mr. Carroll?
Here.
Mr. Kozel?
Here.
Mr. Malta?
Here.
Mr. Mixel?
Present.
Mr. Artuso?
Here.
Mrs. Malvin? Here. Mr. Taylor?
He's here, but he's
inside. See.
What, Josh, you got this map up here? Is that inside?
Yes.
That's the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody here for it? Oh, I'm sorry. Just come up here, so that's it. Like the one in the corner of the Yeah, go ahead.
Webster Fitness Company sign located at 855 Publishers Parkway. Applicant Levine is requesting sign approval associated with the installation of a 68.73 square foot internally lit building mounted facade sign for Webster Fitness Company, rebranding from Old Gym, on a 44.14 acre parcel located in an OP core area North Office Park District under section 265-7 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Todd Levine, representing Webster Fitness Company. Here tonight seeking the board's approval. We're replacing a sign, about approximately 68 square feet, box sign backlit for the front of the building.
And so this size conforms to the building right there? Okay.
It's much smaller than what they're allowing.
So just the figures are lit, basically?
Yeah, it's going to be a box sign,
Okay.
so the whole thing will be lit, but the predominant, everything other than the letters is black, so
Yeah.
really won't be giving out much light.
Let's go. Okay, anybody have any questions? Concerns? Okay, Steve.
The Town of Webster Planning Board considered a request by applicant Todd Levine to install a 68.73 square foot internally illuminated facade sign for Webster Fitness Company located at 855 Publishers Parkway, 44.40 parcel having SBO number 079.06-1-33.11. The planning board classifies the proposed action as a type 2 action under section 617.5C9 of the state environmental quality review regulations, and that board is not subject to further review.
Okay, we have a motion, need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Somebody want to make a motion for approval for the sign, 50%?
I'll make a motion for the Webster Fitness Company sign for a 68.73 square foot internally lit building mounted facade sign as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All set. You're all set. Good luck.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Good luck. Okay, look at the second one.
Vision Nissan Edition located at 785 Ridge Road. The applicant Robert Sanders is requesting sketch plan review associated with the construction of a 1,400 square foot building addition for an enclosed service entrance area and associated facade improvements to an existing car dealership on a 2.43 acre parcel located in a medium intensity commercial district under sections 269-5 and 350-18 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Link Sweetrack with BME Associates. Here tonight on behalf of the Vision Auto Group. We're requesting a sketch plan review for a 1,400 square foot building addition to the existing Vision Nissan car dealership. We also have improvements to the site, including some parking, additional signage for customers, and some access improvements to make sure we have access around the addition for emergency vehicles, some restriping, parking improvements, and as well as the building addition. we provided you building elevations and floor plans for the proposal. The addition is basically to receive maintenance at a maintenance area for them to come pull the car in, go to the maintenance desk, and drop the car off. So this is something that the improvements and the maintenance thing is something that Vision Nissan themselves is looking to do at a lot of their operations. So with that, I'm here to answer any questions you got. It sounds like we're on for a sketch plan
You're
tonight.
showing a 25-foot space between the proposed addition and the proposed no parking pavement parking down there?
Yeah,
Okay, if you don't park cars, are we gonna get rid of a bunch of cars? I mean, right now, you're showing single parking along that line, right?
yes,
Right now, you've got double lines of cars and they're in the buffer zone.
they're gonna have to,
Well, they're not supposed to be there in the first place.
well, that's not their,
I drove in
we're
there, I
proposing
drove
that.
back in there, this is a disaster, this place. I drove in there yesterday, I could barely get back there and turn around and get out. The back area, you guys have got cars parked within the 100-foot buffer. In the back, right in the back there.
Mhm.
They're not supposed to be there. This has got some major issues. This morning, you had a delivery truck there. This is stupid. Every project has to have a way to get a truck delivery in there to unload. If you're coming in here tonight and this morning you got a truck parked on the road unloading cars. Not too cool. This has got some serious issues. I think what you need to do with this is show where you're parking the cars right now. Again, you've got a double row along the side of the building there.
Yep.
And on your new drawing, you're showing one row of cars. Not even half the number of parking spaces. That thing is maxed out. It isn't even, if there was a fire truck, you couldn't even get it back up. Okay, and that to me is all the problem. Now, solution to it. Next door, there's a piece of property, belongs to Mark IV. That vacant piece in there.
Yeah,
I think what Vision should do is negotiate a deal with them, because there's nothing in there, nothing proposed for it right now, and see if they can make arrangements to use that for parking. If they can do that, then they come in, then I think you got a better chance of looking at this addition. Well, the board, that's just my opinion.
okay.
Going through the site, I mean, if you look at, there's your site right there, here's a picture you want to see it, and maybe you got it. You got it? No, not
Yes,
that. Oh, yeah, there you go.
I tried to give you an aerial with the overlay on it.
Yeah, and the cars are way back
Mhm.
in the buffer zone. They're not even supposed to be there. Like 3 rows of cars. Anyways, what do you want to do?
Well, I want to talk to the client.
I would suggest let's shorten this and don't kill anybody's time here tonight, but I
Okay,
would suggest you talk to them, see if they can negotiate a deal about getting it over there, because the way it stands right now, and another thing, they will have to show where they can come in with a truck to unload, like they were supposed to in the first place.
okay,
Right now, you can't even get a bicycle through there. Okay?
understood.
All right, what do you want to do? You want to just table this until,
Yeah, I'd like to table it and keep it going. I'd like to have a conversation, with them
all
about.
right, it's
what-
true, yes, right.
I
The
can't,
attorney just says, just a sketch plan anyway, so you don't even have to table it. You can proceed with it and come up with something different.
yeah.
Good enough?
Is there any other comments from the board that I need to discuss with them?
Just to make sure that it's not unloading and loading cars on Ridge Road. And this is a hazard like you can't believe.
They need to show the drawing without the cars in the buffer areas, along the side and in the back. And just a suggestion, try and negotiate with Mark IV for that piece of land. It's right there, right next to him, the ideal. Now, that's not zoned for automotive, that's commercial, but I think something could be worked out there between the town and, Vision. I suggest you take that avenue right now. You guys understanding that, or? It's just, I wasn't too happy with what I was saying.
Okay,
All right?
yes.
Okay, good luck with it.
Thank you for your input.
Thanks a lot. Nothing, it's basically, so there's nothing.
Next item on the agenda, Pipeline Way in-law suite located at 504 Pipeline Lane. The applicant, Matt Berry, is requesting accessory apartment waiver approval associated with the construction of a 1,072 square foot attached accessory apartment addition to an existing single-family residence on a 0.69 acre parcel in an R3 single-family residential district under section 350-50 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Yes, sir.
Matthew with Smarty Construction, I'm standing in for the homeowners who are out of town. We are just looking for approval from the board to add an in-law suite for Matt Berry's mother to move in. She's moving into more of a handicap need at this point, and I know that a variance is needed, so we're just looking for the town's approval on that.
All right, looks like it's quite large. The code says 35% of the main or 750 square feet, whichever is less. It exceeds that. What is the square footage on that, Josh? I forgot.
On the main house or
Yeah,
the
that was
proposed
just-
addition? The proposed in-law suite is 1,072 square feet.
Okay, so we're quite a bit over, so this board can, if we're in agreement with it. I don't know, I can't even see it on your drawing, where, you're gonna have one servicing the whole house, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. One passage, unobstructed passage from the new section to the in-law section.
Yes.
You've got all this stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I mean, I can't see that here, but, no front entrance, so you don't have actors coming in the other way, okay? And which you know, so prior to a C of O, the owner shall deliver to the town an agreement as per town's requirements, so going to the county and so on. You'll have to do that
Yes, sir.
moving forward. And the planning board can waive the size, because it is oversized, but we can change that. Anybody, go ahead and take a look at it and come up with something.
I had a question, or a concern from the neighbor about drainage. The
Yes.
neighbor on Schlegel Road, but that house is about 3 houses in from Schlegel Road, so I didn't understand where that was coming from.
Yeah, I think we submitted a letter to them.
I can read it into the record if you'd like.
Yeah, well, we can actually put this in the record. Yeah, Sandra and John Baldwin. My husband John and I welcome our neighbors and have no problem with the various additions as long as it meets zoning requirements. We are concerned about drainage onto the property that is located directly behind 504 Pipeline. A few years back, we noticed that it was constantly wet, about 20 feet into our property because the home and in other locations behind the homes on the pipeline on our property while clearing out some dead trees. Whatever that is. We discovered one or 2 feet down and 20 feet into our property was a storm drain, corrugated pipe buried, contributing a great deal to the water onto our property. We believe the builder of the homes on pipeline may have drainage pipes well into our property, as we notice other areas are constantly saturated all the time near the property line. We would ask that any storm drainage pipes of any kind coming over the property line are removed during construction. I don't think we would be running any pipelines,
No, sir.
right? Okay, well, leave the record, this is, thank you, Senator John. You got it. All right, anybody take a look at it? And I guess, Josh, you've seen this at all conforms with the code calls for?
Yes, the only thing is the size.
Yeah, but that we can,
Right. You have the ability to waive the size.
actually, we probably should do that as separate motion. Because it's oversized for the property. Well, the size and to be able to,
But they don't need a planning board
Yeah.
to build it, right?
Yeah.
It's just for the weight of the size.
no, the whole thing.
The way that I read the code, they are permitted as of right, as long as they're following the regulations set forth in that code section. But because they're exceeding the size allowance, that's what triggered the need for them to come before this board.
So otherwise, they could have got the approval.
Yeah, there was some.
And why do we have other ones always coming in?
Well, because usually they're not meeting all the requirements for this.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so we just move for the second, that's it, that's simple. And then, as far as, it's interesting, because so you have to review and make sure everything is, like the passageways and so on and so forth.
Correct. And the floor plan that they provided shows that it meets.
All right.
Does it make any difference, in fact, this one application form that we have here, it says preliminary final, but it's not written into the meeting agenda that I just read a few minutes ago. So
It's just an accessory waiver approval, so that's
Okay.
how
all right.
it should be.
All right, that'll simplify it actually, all right. Still have to put a secret on it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Want to put a secret on that there?
Town of Webster Planning Board consider a request by applicant Matt Berry for a waiver to construct a 1,072 square foot attached accessory apartment addition to the existing single-family residence located at 504 Pipeline Way, 0.69 acre parcel having SBL number 066.01. And I believe there's actually a picture of this. Planning Board classifies a proposed action as a type 2 action under section 617.5C 25 of the State and Environmental Quality Review Regulations, and therefore is not subject to further review.
Can you give me a second?
Second.
A second, all in favor? All right, in regard to this addition, actually, I'll make a motion that we go on with this. Make a motion to grant actually it'd be like a variance,
Accessory apartment.
a waiver for 504 Pipeline Way, and the waiver is in regard to the allowed is 750 square feet, whereas the applicant is asking for 1,072 square feet. So the increase is beyond, is more than what the town allows.
Subject to compliance with all the other standards.
That's good, and that would be subject to the code requirements. And the school approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, you're all set.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, last scheduled item on the agenda tonight's birdsong at Conover Cove subdivision located at the east end of Conover Cove Lane and Webster Road. Applicant Rowe Underhill LLC is requesting preliminary final subdivision and site plan approval along with a public hearing associated with the creation of 9 lots for construction of 8 single-family residences and an associated stormwater management facility on a 5.55 acre parcel located in an R3 single-family residential district under sections 269-11, 296-20, and 350-12 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Fred Shelley from BME Associates representing the applicant, Grove Underhill LLC. Also with us today are Mitchell Brodsky and Jeff Bell from Grove Underhill, also Abby D'Angelo from BME as part of our design team. The applicant is requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval for this project, which was previously before the planning board for a sketch plan hearing in December of 2023. The project is an 8-lot single-family residential subdivision located on 5.5 acres. It's located on the west side of Webster Road. It's east of the dead end of Conifer Cove Lane, where there's a temporary turnaround, and it's north of and adjoining the Webster Conservation Area, the Bird Sanctuary Trail. The project is currently vacant and includes successional growth vegetation, and the applicant proposes conventional development of the property, meeting the underlying residential R3 zoning requirements as suggested by the planning board during the sketch plan review. The development will include, as I said, 8 single-family lots. One parcel is proposed to be conveyed to the town of Webster for a stormwater management facility. And then there's also the public road connection, an extension that will connect Conifer Cove Lane on the west side of the project to Webster Road, New York State Route 250. The roadway and access point on 250 does meet the required site distances, and the applicant is underway with the coordination of permitting with the New York State DOT. Also included with the project is the extension of public utilities, including public sanitary sewer, which will connect to the Conifer Cove, existing sanitary sewer, water main connection, which is under the jurisdiction of the Monroe County Water Authority. There will be a connection in Conifer Cove right-of-way, as well as a connection on Route 250. Lastly, there will be a proposed stormwater maintenance area and stormwater management practices, which will include the construction of a dry pond, bioretention area. Both of those practices are proposed to meet the New York State DEC requirements for green infrastructure and their stormwater permitting. And then there will also be site public sanitary storm sewers installed within the right-of-way throughout the site to collect site stormwater runoff and direct it to the stormwater facility. The design of the project is intended to comply with town and state requirements, as I mentioned, with the stormwater design requirements. And the site runoff generally will come in to the site either from the west, from the 2 properties on Conifer Cove Lane, and then also majority of the site runoff that's coming from off-site is coming from the sanctuary trail. Site drainage is generally contained within the development area, and the runoff will be collected by storm sewers and directed to the facilities where it will be treated for water quality and quantity. It will be discharged at rates that meet or reduce under existing conditions. Plan sets also includes a landscaping plan. Lot 4 of the project, which is the adjoining on the south side of the road adjoining State Route 250, includes a proposed vegetated berm for buffering from the state road. There is landscaping proposed in and around the stormwater facility, further increasing the buffering from the site. And the design also includes a general lot landscaping theme of 2 trees per lot, and the developer plans to coordinate the individual plantings as provided based on placeholders, and the final locations will be coordinated through construction, the home construction. One last item on landscaping and vegetation is that the developer will also look to preserve select trees within the site where it's available if it's a significant tree or a tree in good health, and the grading and site disturbance will allow for preservation of those trees. The project will require review and approval from the Monroe County Department of Public Health for the proposed water main and sanitary sewer extensions. It requires approval from Monroe County Water Authority for the water main extension, and then the DOT also has the permitting process for connection of the subdivision straight to State Route 250, as well as the water main connection to the existing utilities on State Route 250. The applicant will continue to coordinate the agency review and approval throughout the town's approval phase as well. The applicant has received comment letters from the residents of Conifer Cove and also the town engineer recently. The applicant has provided a response letter to the neighbors that was copied to the town for the town's file. And then we'll also provide responses to the town engineer's comments after this meeting. Both the neighbor letter and the town engineer letters included comments on the anticipated traffic within the site. Not necessarily whether or not there will be a large generation of trips from the proposed 8 lots. It's more of a consideration to potential changes in the distribution of traffic between the existing development to the north of the property and the property itself. We've been in contact with town staff, and we're working to refine the scope as far as to determine the scope of that study to figure out and come up with some anticipated distribution for the project. And we'll continue to work with the town as we come up with more information. There were also comments pertaining both in the town engineer's letter and the neighbor's letter that requested the applicant to consider the site runoff. We do acknowledge that there are some areas that have saturated soils on site. Just in regard to this, we've proposed our stormwater management facilities, again, per the DEC regulations. These are intended to reduce the runoff from the development site, and it will discharge it at rates at or below existing conditions. The site discharge is at the northwest corner of the project into an existing swale, which leads to a stormwater culvert within an easement to the town of Webster, and that's located on property at, let me skip over this. 1291 Foothills Circle. The developer also views the project location relative to the sanctuary trails as an appealing feature and desires to preserve as much existing vegetation along that south line of the project where it adjoins the town's property. And we'll work with the applicant as far as identifying any significant trees that should be retained in there. Generally speaking, on our plans, we have proposed a swale along the back property line, and we'll look to increase that vegetative buffer as much as we can while maintaining the swale to provide proper drainage for the lots. Lastly, we did receive correspondence from the town today which raised the question of whether or not this project would qualify, the proposed project would qualify as a type 1 seeker action. We're not aware of any recent or new seeker regulations or revisions recently, and we are confident that the project would be considered an enlisted action under seeker. We do acknowledge, though, that the State Department of Health has issued letters recently, and I believe it was in February of this year, which indicated realty subdivisions qualify as a type 1 action. However, that type 1 action is included within the list that's maintained by the New York State Department of Health. As that's within the state's list of that, just a couple of things to keep in mind with that is that number one, it's defined in the New York State DOH code, not the secret code. The New York State Department of Health is not an involved or interested party in this project, as this is the realty subdivisions are typically taken care of through the town's subdivision code 296 and also with the Monroe County Department of Public Health. This is further supported by the distribution of the DOH letter to Wayne, Ontario, and Yates counties only, which each of these counties or none of these counties have a local or a county-wide health department. So in those cases, the New York State Health Department addresses seeker, and they have their own technical list in there. We have prepared a long form EAF as requested by the town, and we're happy to provide that to the town tonight. However, we do not believe that this would be considered a type 1 action under the secret regulations. So with that, happy to entertain any comments or questions from the board as we go through this.
We have received some comments from the neighbors on Carver Cove. We had meetings with you guys in the past year. There was a lot of concern about traffic coming from Holly Road and down Balsam Lane and making it a cut through. And we kind of just breezed over it. Well, I spent a little time looking at it and kind of understanding it better, in my opinion anyways. And today going through it, I was looking at, I talked to the highway superintendent, because generally when you got a hammerhead like that, the intent was for that road to go through. That was the intent of this thing. But looking at this, in my opinion, I think highway superintendent is okay with it the way it is, leaving it as it is. dead end. And my feeling is for these 8 homes, they're rentals, they're going to be rental units. That's what I heard last time I was still holding.
Well, that's not quite accurate.
Mitch, Mike.
We don't really know what the market's going to
All
bear.
right, I have to use the microphone. Excuse your name.
My name is Mitchell Brodsky. We are still exploring the possibility of renting houses, but it's not our intent to rent all of the houses, and we don't know what the market will bear at that price level.
Okay. Again, back to where I was, my thought on this for these 8 homes is to make that a private drive and dead end it the same as Comfort Cove. You can make that a private road, you can make it, I don't know, make it it wouldn't be a dedicated, just make it a private drive. And leave it as a little complex of its own. I think that's my thought on it. Highway superintendent was okay with it, because traffic would, I can see that as being a serious factor there. Somebody brought that up, I remember at the last meeting, and I thought, well, you know, but then after looking at it, yeah, I can see what that could really possibly be. And how long has Comfort Cove been? How long have you folks been?
We've been there since 1990.
So 19, so you've been there, so you
34 years.
kind of ground into this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We chose that lot for a reason.
Excuse me. So, it's not public comment.
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
Okay.
That's my thought on it. Anyways, but you know what? It is a public hearing, so we'll open it. And if anyone wants to get up and speak, just give us your name and address. You have to go up to the mic.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Just give us your name and address.
Yes.
I'm Isabel Kaplan, I'm at 1278 Clear Pond Lane, which is on the other side of the Bird Sanctuary Trail from this development. I would just like a clarification of what we were talking about the dead-end street. Are you proposing then to have a circle at the end and not have it go through?
No, there would be nothing. And Conifer Cove?
Yeah,
No, that would stay just the way it is.
so how could the houses,
Nothing. This new subdivision possibly would have nothing to do with Conifer Cove. It would be separate parcels.
but are you saying that a road would cut through and intersect 250?
No.
No.
No, I'm just saying, Conifer Cove would stay exactly as it stands right now.
Yes.
The new development would have a private drive, or whatever, more than likely a private drive, you would have to put a turnaround in, just for those 8 houses, it would be separate, going out to 250.
Well, I guess I'm still confused. When you say go out to 250, do you mean that one could be at the corner of 250 in this new extension? Or are you saying that traffic would have to go back
No,
west and then,
no, it has nothing to do with that. The 8 homes, see where you, look at it right there, there it is, right there.
yes,
There's 8 homes.
yes.
Okay, they would just go out onto 250.
Oh, so there would be access to 250.
They would exit on 250, because nothing, they would not be connected, in other words. Drainage-
So you're saying only this parcel would be connected to 250?
Yes.
The people living here would not be able to go?
Correct. Unless you want the road to go through.
No.
And another question, the stormwater management facility, is that, will there be
You have to
pumps?
use the microphone, back to the mic.
Sorry. The stormwater management facility, does that involve pumps and noise and any kind of activity like that?
No.
It's just
Just a pad.
a pond? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, sure enough. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, I'm Cecilia Robello. I live at 1291 Foothill Circle. I have not heard about whether you are dynamiting for basements, so please tell us that. I have a few questions, so I'll stay here until they answer them all.
Wait a minute, what is the question? You directed to the
Are
board,
they
not to-
dynamiting for basements?
Okay, you ask the board, you don't ask the applicant. That's the correspondence. What other questions? Any other ones?
there's wildlife out there. Has the DEC been contacted? It's the time where the fawns, the foxes with their kits, have they contacted the DEC to decide when would be an appropriate time to
That is
start?
our requirement, ma'am.
Well, it might not be a requirement, but we live on this earth. And I would like to understand more about the drainage. I went back when they were doing the perk tests. We didn't have a large snowpack this year. I'm sure they had the figures. I'd like to know if they extrapolated for the drainage for when we have a normal snowpack and rain and when it's above normal. Because right now that land floods my backyard. Those are my questions.
Okay,
I
so
hope they three of them are answered.
Generally, a subdivision like this, the applicant builds it, and then there's swales, drainage pipe, storm sewer, running to the pond. That pond is engineered, it's not, they don't just dig a hole and say, here's a pond.
I understand that.
That's engineered to take care of what the flooding would be in this situation with the residents, with the impervious surface that would be there. That's how that's controlled.
I understand, and that's why they did the perk test to figure out about the water. But this was a abnormally drier year. So I don't want them just using those numbers for engineering for this year, but extrapolating those numbers for when we have regular snow and rainfall and when we have above regular rainfall.
They base that on a 100-year storm. That's how it's based.
Okay, well, I didn't know that, that's why I'm asking.
That's what they do. They base that on a 100-year, rainstorm, or
Okay,
a really big storm, 100-year, which we get probably 3 times a year now.
okay.
You know?
What about basements
That's
and,
how it's based on.
what about basements and what about dynamiting?
Okay, dynamiting, I would have to defer to that, but I don't think there's any reason for dynamiting there, is there?
No, and I can answer from here. We advanced our test pit, it's below 10 feet, so, that's typical depth of the
Okay.
basement. So we did not run into any bedrock.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is Greg Mishler, and I live at 1271 Conifer Cove Lane. And I've been there since 1990. I was like the third or fourth house built on the lane. I just wanted to comment on your proposal that we keep the dead-end street exactly the way it is today. And I think that is an excellent idea because we've been living essentially, and people have bought houses essentially on a dead-end cul-de-sac type street. And to take it through to 250 just presents a whole host of problems. We'd have more traffic. It's a nice straight road, so people tend to go faster when it's straight. The rest of the development north of us has all curves in it and stuff. So that's just an issue that I guess I would like to reinforce. Is that I really like the idea of if you're going to take those 8 homes and just put them right onto 250, and that would be it. There would be no through traffic. That would be great.
Okay, thank you.
There was an original, just one other question. There was in the original plan, well, actually, I don't think that matters. No, it doesn't. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for the time. My name is Mark Nicholson. I live at 1274 Clear Pond Lane. I have a clear view of this. I'm also chairman for the village zoning and planning boards. So I've been through this once or twice. I've taken a close look at this. This has 2 issues for me. I think you've addressed both of them. One, you told what it looked like in the plans here was that there was going to be a connection to Conifer Lane. What I'm hearing now is that there's not going to be a connection to Conifer Lane, but we are going to we're going to put 8 houses to exit out onto 250. that one I kind of, and I have to use that myself on a regular basis. There's anywhere usually from 6 to 8 cars waiting to get out onto 250. Why wouldn't we turn this right around and take it back in through, and I think the name of the road is Mill Creek. That's just one idea that I have. If you're gonna limit it to 2.8, I'm not sure how that works. The other one is, this is a cheap counting, let's say. I did this for my back porch. But there's anywhere between 75 and 150 people that use that bird sanctuary trail. What we've done at the end of this, and I think the original plan I saw either took the trail through or didn't go through. And I've looked at some zoning maps and it's not clear to me, but there's something going on there, and the state has put in a road or a connection between the Chiota Trail, or whatever they call the one at Xerox, I apologize, and the Bird Sanctuary Trail. So that thing runs around North Ponds Park, through the Bird Sanctuary Trail, and then over to the Chiota Trail, and all the way over to the rec center, and turns around and comes back.
Okay.
What I haven't heard is confirmation that this board has decided this is the end of the development. You know,
I'm missing, the end of
well, what I'm saying is, where else do we go? If you take a look at the maps,
In
you've got
Webster,
maybe
you're talking about?
100 feet.
Are you talking about Webster or?
I'm talking about Webster. We can make a decision on what we zone that, and we can also make a decision on how many more houses we're gonna put back there. I don't know if you've got any room for any more, and what I was hoping the board would do is stand up and say, we don't have any more, we need to go to the zoning board, go to the planning board, go wherever we need to, and talk about rezoning this.
You've got me totally confused.
And by the way, I can help you with that, but.
No, I don't think I need help. I've been here 48 years. I don't think I need any help with this.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. This piece of property has been there. Anybody could have bought it. It's just a separate parcel of land. It's zoned residential. The developer is proposing residential. End of story. It isn't confusing. It isn't anything to do with birdsong, with the sanctuary or anything. It doesn't impact that whatsoever. Now, if I understood you right, you didn't want any more cars going out on the 250.
Nope.
So then, okay, so then what we'll do, we'll open it up, so those cars will all go up through Conifer Cove and out the other way. Is that correct? Well,
That
no,
was,
yeah, okay.
that was an option. I don't know what
There's
the
no
right
other
option
option.
is. I appreciate your
There
comment.
is no other option. There it is, look at it. Tell me what would you do with those 8 houses?
Well, I would take them right into Conifer Cove. It's 8 houses. How much traffic is that going to put out and really stop it?
And likewise, why not put those 8 houses, not very much traffic, you said, on the 250?
We do that
Okay,
by
I
Mill
appreciate
Creek.
your comments. Is there anything else you want to give us?
Apparently not. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to comment? Yes, sir.
I just have some questions about Jason Breen, 1259 Conifer Cove Lane. Can you just tell us?
Just give us your name and address.
Jason Breen, 1259 Conifer Cove
Oh,
Lane. Sorry. Can you just explain the process, how it's going to go on from here, like what the next steps are?
Yeah, right now, I mean, I'm just making a suggestion. I'm open to the floor. I don't even know what the board wants to do. If they still want to connect it, I don't even know.
Okay.
My thought was just to eliminate the problem. You guys have been there forever. Why change it, leave the road as it is, and just make those 8 houses go out onto 250?
I only speak for my family, I think we would be on board with that. I don't know how that's.
Well, anyway, that's.
Yeah, no, that's,
We won't go there because the board's got to decide.
Understood.
But the process would be, this would be a sketch of it, you know. They're looking for preliminary and final. I don't believe we're ready to do a preliminary and final.
Okay.
So,
My only other comment is if developers would like to talk to some of the residents to have some of our input offline, we'd be open to that too. Just a sit down and just, we want to do that. It's fine.
you want to hear, I'm sorry, you wanted to hear?
No, I wanted to be made clear that we'd like to sit down with them too. And talk to them.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, sir, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Hugh Lee. I live at 1290 Conifer Road with my wife Grace. And first let me say I appreciate your opportunity to open this up on the floor. I also appreciate the communications we've had. But I most appreciate the suggestion that you just made, Mr. Chair. Because I think that would solve
That is only a suggestion.
a suggestion for your consideration. And I would hope that you would all consider that because I think it takes care of many of the issues you saw in the letter, as well as some of the concerns I personally have, ranging everything from the traffic, that solves that problem, to issues I would have in terms of, rental, changing the potential character of our communications, of our community because of the transition issues. Any concerns I'd have over the retainment area, I think that the traffic area more than overcomes those concerns that were in the letter. So I would speak to some of my fellow neighbors that support any discussion you have further and encourage you to consider strongly going into 250 and as your exit. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody, what do you want to do?
I think your idea is excellent.
Tony, that's a win-win for everybody.
Sure, I agree.
It's a win-win for the people in Conifer Cove. It's a win-win for this particular development.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna have tons of cars driving through there as well. This is, that's right when it's definitely right when
Okay, so for the applicant, then let's start with, before we do that, this meeting is still, yes, ma'am, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, one or two more things. Isabel Kaplan, 1278 Clear Pond Lane. Can you please talk about whether there are
Get
rental
closer to that
properties?
microphone, please.
The implications of rental properties versus residential owner properties. I don't know anything about what restrictions there might be or what requirements there might be, and I just have never encountered that thing. My other question is, if you make this short road that goes from 250, only the 5 or 6 or 8 houses down, is there going to be a turnaround so a garbage truck can come in and then, get out again? This is a dead end, right?
That would be the same as Conifer Code.
Yeah.
The same as this.
So it's wide enough for a
Trucks,
A garbage truck, for
designed
example.
for trucks to be able to.
Okay, I'm just curious about,
Unless you live there and you want to turn around in the driveway.
I'm sorry, say that again.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I said, unless your driveway was there, you could they could turn around, you let them turn around in your driveway. I'm just kidding.
You're not kidding, you're kidding, yeah. Okay, so can you talk about the difference between rental property restrictions versus ownership restrictions?
If they build the homes and the applicant wants to rent them, he has the right to rent them. It's like you have your house, if you wanted to rent it, you could rent your house, right?
I don't believe so, not in my neighborhood.
Why?
I don't believe so.
Anybody can rent their house, if it's a single family house, they
I don't think that's true.
The only way that there could be a restriction to that effect is if it's in the deed as an exception.
Exactly.
So now, if the development said, we don't allow homeowners to rent the property, and you buy a property, you buy it according to that.
Right.
But that's not the norm. The norm is, if you own a property, you certainly got the right to rent it. And these are gonna be new construction, and at the cost of what it is for new construction today, the rental on a house like that would probably be $3,500 a month.
Well, you know, that may not be an issue for some people, but that's not my concern. My concern is if there are other factors that would be positive or negative for the neighborhood. That's my concern, and I don't know what the rules are for the town.
Okay, well, appreciate it, we'll have to look into that.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Wendy Jones, I live at 760 Webster Road. I live right down from there. A big concern is left-hand traffic turning into these drives. Right now, what we get is Bell Arbor's right there. People are waiting to turn into Bell Arbor. Cars are going off the shoulder to go around, especially at high 5 o'clock. Peak traffic times, now you're going to have another street on 250 with people turning left, waiting to get in. And that was my concern, is this many streets that people are trying to turn into, and these cars are just flying down 250. The road, it's pretty scary sometimes down 250.
I agree.
So I'd like to just put that out
You
there.
have to look at the other side of it though. If the road was I mean, it is buildable, that's a given.
Yep, I know.
But now, if we connected it through, can you imagine how many more cars would be going down there?
No, I understand that, but
So
I
that's
just,
a benefit.
yeah, I was hoping like a dead end at 250.
It would be, yeah, I mean, that's at this point.
Yeah, well, that's what I was hoping. I just wanted to put that out.
Okay,
It's
thank you.
very much.
Okay, anybody else? Any comments?
I'll be quick and you guys address most of the stuff. My name is Pat Stevens, I live at 1291 Concord Oak Lane, directly adjacent to this property. I think Tony, what you put together addresses most of my concerns. Our biggest concern was the connection. The 250, I did throw a couple of numbers together. It mentioned the straightaway, the speeding. I took a look at all the connections to 250 all the way down through. The longest one, other than this one that was proposed, unless the board takes your solution, was about 650 feet. The straightaway section off the 250 with no intersections and no curves for what's proposed here is about 1,300 feet. So that's across about 20 streets that connect to 250 within the town of Webster. So this would be twice as long of a straightaway than any other street that's in town. And I can certainly tell you that the speeding and the issues with that would be major. So obviously what you proposed would address that. Then just to talk about the rental use, new construction that instantly goes into rental. Certainly within everybody's right to put a single family home into rental if the market supports it, which I think it very well may. But what you can't do in that situation is have public utilities to those properties. The roadways, the drainage, the stormwater facility. If you're renting your rental community or rental properties that you're developing new, that stuff should remain private, not be maintained by the other taxpayers if you're running a profitable business with these new developments. So most of the other stuff you addressed, I think the takeaway of the connection addresses most of my other concerns or major concerns anyway. We hope to continue talks with the developer about possible purchase of the property. Talk about the only way we can do this is purchase it. We have tried, but currently that's not something folks are open to. So hope we can progress that. But otherwise, what you're proposing, what you mentioned, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're right, it's a good point too. That would be a racetrack. Balsam Lane all the way to 250 would be one straight shot going right through there. Yes, sir.
Sam Kaplan at 1278 Clear Pond Lane. Why haven't you considered the possibility of not having a connection from 250 to this new development and forcing everyone to drive the long way around? That would also alleviate the traffic, but would not have another entryway into 250. Is that a possibility as well?
I'm not following, I'm sorry.
I'm saying that to keep the dead ends, you cannot enter from 250. The cars in the new development have to go out the same way as the cars that the houses are currently in that development.
What he's saying is no.
So it keeps the tree, keep a buffer there.
These houses all through.
Yeah, well, that's what that lady brought up before, that gentleman.
would that be an equal solution?
No. Again, as Mr. Stevens just said too, which is a good point, that would definitely be a racetrack right up through there with cars going on a straight shot through.
Why not? They wouldn't go
Why
through
would
it.
why would you want to connect them into there? I mean, these homes, these people, where do you live, I'm sorry?
I'm on Clear Pond Lane, so on the other side of the
So you're not even near there.
No, I'm not right, it doesn't really affect me
So-
that much, I'm just.
Okay, so I understand what these people are saying, they live there. They're saying,
Okay,
"We don't
no, I'm
want
just
that."
suggesting maybe they would like a different way of looking at it. Because of the complaint about cars turning from 250 into this area, and the cars that speed past you when you're trying to get around turn.
This is that nobody, the way it is, nobody's going through, and it'd be dead ended at 250, that wouldn't happen. That would not, definitely be not good planning.
I don't know, just be extending that road a little bit, what was it, Conifer Cove Lane, you just extend that a little bit, but have it dead end before 250.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying. I don't think that would, you guys don't think that would be more sensible. Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to comment?
Steve Miniman, 1279 Conifer Cove Lane. Just wanted to thank everybody here today and just wanted to agree with your suggestion. I think it's a good one for all non-Conifer. That's it.
Okay, thanks. So I would take the consensus is what we're talking about here. Keeping it separate, right? And in that direction, you guys want to think that way. All right, so, all right, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and on behalf of the applicant, thank you to the public for your comments and input on the project. The applicant actually would consider that disconnection from Conifer Cove. However, the developer would prefer to maintain that road as a dedicated roadway. So that one of the things with that is if we go to a dedicated roadway, then if we recall back from the sketch plan, we had presented a cluster development and then also the conventional. We went conventional based on the feedback we were getting at that time. I guess I would ask the board if they would be open or to reconsidering the potential for cluster development so that number one, we can maintain a dedicated road. But one of the things that I see is that could be problematic is if we have a cul-de-sac or a hammerhead turnaround at the end of that that's dedicated to the town, we're going to lose some lot areas. Our lots right now, we've got them at minimum lot sizes right now based on the current code. So that would be one of the reasonings for pursuing the cluster development.
Understood.
So we would hope to get the board's support.
What would they give you? Maybe another couple of lots in there?
Pardon me?
What would they give you? Another couple of lots overall?
Well, no, so our original submission for the proposed cluster, based on code and the calculations that are required through the town code, it allowed 9-lot development.
So you get another lot?
Yes, but some of the feedback that we were getting from the town was they wanted to maintain the stormwater maintenance all on one parcel. So while this project does meet the size requirements for 9 lots, we did lose that one building lot for the stormwater management area. So, that's some of those things that we need to keep in mind if we're changing those layouts or changing the configuration of the roadways. Another consideration, and it doesn't happen very often, but maybe just a consideration to the town. A hammerhead turnaround takes up less room than a conventional cul-de-sac does, so that might be another ask to the conventional or the cluster developing is perhaps to get some waiver from that. I have to admit I'm not too keen or too up to date on the town's development regs as it pertains to hammerheads versus cul-de-sacs, but we would like to explore that.
I would suggest maybe is getting together with the highway superintendent on that and see how that would work out. I understand what you're saying. A hammerhead would be basically the same as kind of proposed.
Yes. and we can pull that back away from the actual westerly boundary lane
I
where
wonder if there would be a way to connect up enough, that one hammerhead between the two parcels. You know what I mean?
Then how would they go their separate ways?
I'm not sure. We'd have to have the engineers and
Yeah.
stuff look at it to really analyze
Right,
it
that
properly.
means something-
we'd be happy to sit with the town or perhaps even PRC at the
I would-
PRC meeting.
I would
if
think that
that's-
would be, you know what I mean, where they have a hammerhead at the end of their road, that, I don't know how it would work, but if you go by it, slip one.
Sure, they have a red line, so we will street the ones all those.
We'd be straight through front, yeah, you're right. Yeah, all right, but a hammerhead, if the town would be okay with it, that's something we could negotiate with the town, yeah, I mean, a cul-de-sac in there, kind of ridiculous, actually. All right, and as far as being a dedicated or private road, those are things you have to just get together and figure out how and what the requirements would be. Again, your question about, getting one more, you get what, another lot in there, maybe?
There's potential, but I mean, we would start with what we have now and work from there, so, you know. Excuse me,
With cluster type development. It's a small piece. And I mean, cluster really doesn't make it any different than what you folks have as far as size. It's just a total separate entity.
What does that mean, a cluster?
I don't see it there.
Well, they're a little bit smaller lots and smaller.
I don't see it there.
You don't see a benefit to it? No? Okay. All right. All right, we'll, see what you come up with.
Thank you, yes, and we'll keep in touch with the town, and, if we're tabled for this evening, then, we can carry on with town staff.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to table this to any special, I don't think we really know a date yet until we get together. Just table it to.
Table it for tonight, and then perhaps, just keep it on the agenda for the next meeting for further discussion.
July 2nd? All right.
Yeah, so I mean, so the applicant hasn't agreed to the cul-de-sac yet, but it's definitely in consideration that it's something we'll work with between now and the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you
All
very much.
right, well, so, all right, so I'll make a motion to table the July 2nd. Okay, that's a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anything else? I think we're done. Yes, sir.
So what happened to the Union Park Republic City?
What happened? I'm sorry.
What happened to that, it just stayed down with the change in the
Yeah, until they put in with whatever the change. Anyways, yeah, the road, the way it's now, the road will not be connected to it. Okay, that's the bottom line. Everything else is all. Right. All right. All right, with that, we'll close the public hearing.